Hello, everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCalSabre here. Thanks for stopping by. I haven't been on YouTube for a few days and my internet was down. Somebody in their car hit the box down the street and they had to rewire all the fiber optics. So I'm back, and what I wanted to do today was do an unboxing and show you the components of Great Western Trail 2nd Edition. I did own the 1st edition. I did get to play it yesterday with two friends. All three of us really enjoyed it, and it was only none of us had ever played it before. It was really, really good game. So I went from the 1st edition to the 2nd edition because I wanted to get some of the upgrades. I'll show you some of them when we're going through this. And also with the new 2nd edition, there's going to be, the U.S. Western, is going to be a trilogy. If you want to go that way, one of them is going to be New Zealand. I think another one's going to be Argentina. So let's take a look at the back. You wonder where there's no shrink wrap? Well, I started doing this. I got almost to the end of the video when for some reason I hit the wrong button and it stopped recording. So I had to do this all over because I didn't even get a chance to show you what the board looked like. Let's take a look at the back here. As you can see, I even had the box backwards. Okay, choose your hat. Customize your own cowboy. See those little hats there? That's a cute upgrade. They didn't have hats, they're just plain old meeples in the other one. This is a solo, looks like a solo board here. It's for 1 to 4 players, 75 to 150 minutes. 150 minutes is 2.5 hours. It took us about 3.5 hours to play it, but that's again 3 newbies playing for the first time. And then this is growing your cow variants here. See what it has to say here. Epic adventure await you on the Great Western Trail. 19th century America never looked so breathtaking. Great Western Trail 2nd Edition marks the return of Alexander Pfister's epic strategy masterpiece with new cool features, new components for an even greater journey. Buy the most valuable cows that deliver the best cattle to Kansas City's train station. From there, bring them to New York to earn money and points to become their best rancher. Hire cowboys, builders, and engineers to get closer to your goal. Find cowboys will increase your cattle value. Construct buildings to get more actions. Ride your train to reach the furthest cities. And with an abundance of strategies, plan all your actions wisely and make the most out of every decision to find the trail to victory. So, let's get her going. Hopefully I don't have it upside down again or something like that. Oh. This is a little book that came with it, just an advertising book. But I was taking a look at it before. After I stopped the other game. It deals with Azul, which I don't have any Azuls, but I've read really good reviews about Azul and some other games. In the Century, I've heard about this Century games before, and Golem. And then here's one on the Camel Up. I've heard about that. I don't know what it is. Here's the an epic trilogy. One supposed to come out Argentina in 2022, New Zealand in 2023. Interesting. All right, we have an appendix. I guess I'm doing in the appendix backwards. I'll do these first. These show you these are neutral tiles that go out onto the board, and everybody can use these equally, and that. And then it's going to show you the A and B sides of all of the player tiles. These player rates come in very handy when you're playing the game because you're trying to. There's a lot of different icons to try to remember everything about in your head, so you can look it up for you. We had some printed out player rates yesterday, which helped a lot too. I'll probably be looking for some of these on Board Game Geek also. Then we have auxiliary actions and objective cards, immediate actions. Sam's actions. This must be the solo. Lonely are the brave. Whether you're exploring the game or testing your skills, traveling the trails of the West alone represents a major challenge. During your journey, you will meet Sam, the best rancher in the West. His solid reputation precedes him everywhere you travel. Will you be able to steal his thunder? This solo is an upgrade. It's 1 to 4. There was no, the first edition is 2 to 4, no solo updates. Let's see, here's some, these are for solo mode only. Okay, it'll be interesting. I'm gonna have to break this out, start reading the rules, learning it, and get a solo game going up so I can understand everything that's going on in the upgrades. And then we got a nice, glossy, colorful rule book. I'm going to stop right here so I can try to get some light fixed. There, that takes some of the glare out of there anyway. I say nice, colorful, glossy rule book. Shows you all of the components. The setups, board game setup, player setup. Then one thing I like is they split the color code, the pages. There's 3 phases that you do in a turn. There's phase A, B, and C, and they color code the top of the pages. In the other one, which was really nice, they color coded every paragraph in the page that pertain to that. But I guess this would be okay because you only got to look at the top of the page. So this is phase A here, the brown. We're going over to the green then for phase B. A lot of stuff goes on in phase B. A lot of actions, movement, and phase B goes all the way up to here. And then we got the phase C, which is pretty simplistic. You just draw back up to your hand. This is a deck builder. Your hand is 4 cards unless you work to get it increased. You'd be playing cards as you're going up the trail, which I'll show you later. And then at the end of your turn, you draw back up to your hand limit. It gives you definitions of actions, hiring a new worker, buying cattle, gaining objective cards, moving your engine. I have to look at this because it might have the placing your private buildings. I think this is going to be a little bit more defined, this rule book. But I'm going to reserve judgment on it. And there's the variant supplement here in the end of the game. And all the scoring. The scoring's quite lengthy. Okay, that's our rule book. I saw this when we were going through. This is a board that goes in with the solo. Put that over here for now. These fell out the first time I went through them, but I'm going to keep them here to show you something later. These are tiles, punch outs that you use to build buildings. This goes on your player board, and this is a new one that I'm not sure of right here. Okay. Buddy, this is different. Probably goofed me up the first time I play. In the first edition, the copper color was 1s and the gray was 5s, and they reversed them here. Okay? This looks like I'll be able to tell when we get to the player boards. This looks like we have a female, what probably could be an engineer. I don't know, I'll have to see when we get to the player boards. Then these are new. These, in version 1, there was Indians and teepees, but there's no Indians and teepees that I saw in this one. But there's bandits mass with these green things. To me, these are pay. Whenever you run into a green hand or a black hand, if you're going across that area, you've got to pay either the bank or the person that owns it. With these things here, it's normally the bank. Okay, there's the Cowboys. The more Cowboys you have, it's better to help you buy cattle. You know, if you only have the one Cowboy that comes on your player board, you're kind of stuck with getting the low scoring cows if you can afford them. And this could be the engineers or the craftsmen. Maybe the female's the craftsman. Who knows? I don't know. I'll have to read the rules. And they're not in the first game. So, look, we got some money falling out here. Going to be running away. And we got some more bandits with different color masks. Got the board here, but I want to show you a few things before we get to the board. That's where I really goofed it up before, when I got to the board part. Okay. All right, these are our player boards. This was one of the upgrades that I really, really wanted, because where you put your things is recessed, and to keep it from sliding all over the place if you knock your board. And during our game yesterday, in edition 1, which doesn't have the recess, you know, I know that I even hit my board once and had to reset all my players and everything. But if I'm reading it correctly now, this is the Cowboys. Okay? You need them to buy cattle. You need this craftsman or woman, whatever you want to call her, scrap person. The more of them, the easier it is to build buildings or build higher cost buildings, more powerful buildings. And these guys down here are your engineers. They help move your train along as they're going. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of things going on in there. So they have the yellow one, a white player, a blue player, and a red player. Okay. Well, these didn't settle too well into the little holders that they give you here. There's too many cards for it. But let's get them out and take a look at them. These are your cattle. Yeah, this is a cattle that you would buy at the, I always forget what I call it now. Never mind. It's where they sell the cows at. Anyway, to buy these, you have to pay money depending on how many of those Cowboys that you got. If you have these in your hand, okay, so when you're going, it's a deck builder. So when you draw this in your hand, and you got 4 cards in your hands, and duplicates won't count when you get to Kansas City. We're going to say, so you got this 4, and you have 3 different 2s. We have a green 2, a black 2, and another 2. That would be a total of 10. At Kansas City, you would get $10. Okay? And if you have these in your hand or in your deck, if you own it at the end of the game, that's worth 5 victory points right there. Okay? There's all different ones. And then when you get to the player, you get 14 cards as your starting hand. The highest is 2. You know, this just signifies, this star with a blue dot signifies this is the blue player, one of the blue player's starting cards. Okay, good. But there's lots of different kind of cards or cows you can buy at the place to buy them at. Brown 4s. You look, we got 2 brown 4s, but look at the bottom. The victory points are different, so you gotta be careful when you're picking them, so you don't cheat yourself and pick a lower one. There's the 3. So these are brown 4s with victory points of 3, 4, and 5 on them. Then we got red 3s with 2s on them, and then we got black Angus with 1 on them. These are so all kinds of different cows. here, what we got here is got a few more cow cards at the back. These cards, I'm pretty sure are going to be AI. I don't know what they are. I've never seen them before. They're probably, there's kind of look like some AI cards in some other games. So we'll set them aside since I don't know what they really are. All right, then we have objective cards. At the beginning of the game, every player gets dealt randomly one objective card like this. And then, as they're going along, it gives them a sort of a goal to work towards. So if at the end of the game they have 1 3 card of any color, a 4 brown, and have built 1 house, they will get 3 victory points. Now, but if they had another objective that required another brown 4, they can't use the brown 4 for both of them. They can only be used for 1. But as you can see, it's just 3 victory points. There only should be about 4 of these in here. Yes. Okay. Now, during the game, there's a process of where you can obtain other objective cards. And during as the game going on, if you decide you want to play it, that you can play it, and you lay it down there and you go towards the objective. Like in this one here, you had to have 1 building, and you had to have 3 threes of any color. At the end of the game, you'll get 4 victory points for this objective card. But if you don't complete it, say you're short, you only got 2 of those, you lose 2 victory points. So you have to be careful of what you want to do. They're all different of what you want to do. Looks like here you would have to have 2 buildings built and 1 of those cowboy hands, it looks like. Yep, we get some more cows there. All right, enough with the cards. We also get some bags, draw bags. There's things that have to be pulled out every time somebody goes through Kansas City. You have to pull out 1 shit, 1 2 shit, or 1 counter, 1 2 counter, and 1 3 counter, and replace them on the board because the person going through Kansas City has taken them out and put them in other spots on the board. And where you place them on the board is where you buy characters from. Now this is pretty cool. I ain't gonna open up the bags because I have a hard time with bags today. These are little cowboy hats, different colored cowboy hats. Okay, they weren't in the last game. So with these cowboy hats, you're gonna take them and put them on the different cowboy meeples in there. These other ones you see up here are the trains. Okay. Each one has their own trains, color trains. And then we have, each one has their own color round markers that go in all of those holes on the player boards. And then as you're removing them from the player boards and putting them on the board, it's making your player board more powerful. It's engine building. This is a deck building and engine building game with the tiles, the building tiles and the boards. Create a pretty good engine. We had a couple of good engines going yesterday. All right, this is where it was bad last time. So I'm not going to pause it like I did last time. I'm just going to get the board out here. You're going to have to just bear with me for 1 second while I get it open for you. All right. Here's the board. In the concept of the game is you start down here with your cowboy, and he's got to start making him his way across here, following the routes, making his way up to Kansas City up here. And when he gets up there, I'll tell you in about a minute. But as he's going along out here, he's going to be running across these. We're going to say this is right here. We're going to say that this is the yellow man that built this earlier in the game, the yellow player. If he goes up here and stops on here, he gets to use both of these things. They're powerful. Okay. Now, if it's somebody else that stops on there, they can't use those, but they can use what's called an alternate action. I'll show you that real quickly because I got a board right here. They can say, all right, I don't want to use this one alternate action and get paid $1. Or I want to use this one here, which allows me to discard one card and then pick one out of my draw deck into my hand. So these are the alternatives. So, but as 3 people start building them, they're getting all over the place. Plus there's 7 or 8 neutral ones that you place out there that any player can use. So you have to pick up, you know, the roots, because this is how the engine building starts going. There's one of those symbols there. The yellow guy stops in there. He can discard 1 3 card for $7 and get paid $7 for it. Or he can do a double alternate and both. He can do both of those things. A double alternate action, which means if he had removed this Koopa, this brown, the brown thing from here, he could use this double action of be 2 cards discarded, 2 cards drawn out of his hand. And it gets really busy. It gets really cool in that. So as the guy gets up here to Kansas City, he's going to be removing these things, 1 from each one of these things. That's that 1, 2, and 3 bag draw. And he's going to be putting them out either in hazards along here, or hazards along up here, or in they used to be Indians. I guess they're robbers now. So in here. And then he's going to be removing some of the characters, the engineers and so forth, and putting them on the board. You build the board going down this way, and that's where you buy the things from. Okay, and then when he gets up there, he turns his hand in. Like I said, if he had 10, he gets $10. And then during the course of the game, we're going to just say this was one of the train meeples. We're going to say that he had moved his train up to the number 3 spot here. And in the yeah, there's a little bit of difference on the board. I'm going to have to read the rules. Oh, I see it. Then, and in the hand, he had 10. He got 10. That means he could place a cube from his thumb out here where the 10 is. But his train's only here. So that means he had only built his railroad this far, so he has to pay somebody else to continue shipping. So then he has to pay 1 for every one of these red X's till he gets to 10. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, $4 he'd have to pay. That's to simulate that your train station or your train's not long enough. So it's a pretty cool game. I'm liking the colors of the board. I'm liking down here. This is what explains who is eligible and what kind of cows you can buy when you can buy them. I think that this is a little clearer than what it was in the past. And the other one, colors are more vibrant. That's it. Okay, go down there and hit that like button and push it out into your social media channels. Let's get the 2nd edition, some more publicity out there on the YouTube. So until you see me or hear from me again, this is SoCalSabre saying, take care.